Welcome to Left Back in the Changing Room.
Way!
Game week 7 and it's me, Jimmy Ferguson. Hello listeners, I am joined by the whole crew. We have got Sean, the John McGinn fanboy.
Boo! Falling out of love this week, we'll come to that.
Oh dear, he's not a happy man. And we have got the man, he has docked his boat. He's in the harbour, it's the one and only Captain Russ.
Hi.
Hiya mate! How are you, Captain?
Good.
Very well, son. And it's your main man,
The main man.
Ricky Pellegrini is back.
And
Yes.
another stellar performance
Top
there.
of the league.
He
We
remains.
are top of the league. Say we are top of the league.
Oh, enough of that, mate.
That-
You
yeah.
two had enough fighting this week, enough of a rivalry. We all saw how that went, and we'll come to that in a minute.
Well, listeners, you're in for a blinding episode. You've got the full house today, and I am excited to welcome everyone and also to run you through the agenda very quick. We will talk about who's top of our league, and we all know who is already.
Iron.
We'll then move on to the best performers of last weekend. We'll then talk about the captain hits and misses. There were some big misses. After that, we get the rambling from the dugout. We've got a fantastic question. Hat-trick from Princeton, USA has actually written in.
USA.
We're pretty impressed by that. We've gone global, boys. Last week we had Peter from Birmingham. This time, Patrick from Princeton. Yeah, after that, we'll take a little short break, give you guys some time to get a cup of tea, maybe a beer if I was you, and then we...
digestive biscuit.
A digestive and a beer is a fantastic idea, as long as it's got caramel in the middle.
Hobnob.
Obnobs.
Oh,
Obnobs.
So
Behave,
guys, I'm going to address the elephant in the room here. What happened Sunday?
Hang on.
Man United
We ain't
beat-
finished the agenda, Sean.
Man United v West Ham.
No one
What
wants to
happened-
talk about Man U
What
and West
happened
Ham.
last week? What
Actually, that's a great idea, John McGinn
There's no-
fanboy.
there's-
What happened at United, mate? Last week you beat Leicester, looking rosy, back near the top of the table, almost touching distance at third, and then you go to London Stadium and you lose.
Well,
Explain that one, Jimmy.
I made a real mistake last week, and I gave Manchester United some real credit, and I said that we attacked well and we looked really good, and I don't know what I was talking about, mate. We looked appalling, and I don't want to labour on that fact. I don't want to take it away from West Ham, who had an absolutely sterling result and victory. I mean, they didn't look great themselves in the first half. They did get a good goal. Yarmolenko, he squeezes it in. From that point on, United were toothless. We didn't have an answer. You know, I also wrongly gave some bad advice last week, listeners. The Rashford hat-trick, what a bit of crap advice that was. That's all I can say.
But it was a weekend of stunning free kicks. Like Cresswell,
It
that
was,
a
it
great
was.
strike. There was a couple in the Man City game, a couple.
It was a blinding free kick, but I've got
But who's
got
better,
trouble with
his
De Gea.
or Aubameyang?
Well, I mean, Aubameyang's free kick was
Aubameyang's
blinding,
in the
wasn't
last
it?
minute of the game. Cresswell, I was impressed. He just had a free kick just a few minutes before the one he scored. Just leant back, smash, top right-hand corner. And it takes some beating. David De Gea, still he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, despite Man United's
I felt
troubles
he should
at
have
the moment.
saved it, Ricky.
He did get a hand to it.
I feel when you get a hand to it, you've got to claw it away. I know he's
But
such
it
a
was
good
top
keeper.
corner. It was top corner.
I'm
you know,
biased,
top
I'm a
bins.
United fan, I hate to see goals go in. I just always feel that Peter Schmeichel would have got across there.
West Ham were poor in the first half, to be fair, and it's only because we got that goal just before half-time that kind of changed the dynamic. Then Man United were really under pressure. You came out second half. James, I got to say, he was probably your best player. Him and Wampa, Saka, the only ones who really showed any promising threat going forward. Rashford didn't look right. Rashford looked like he was almost 50% running pace throughout the whole game. Maybe just a bit overtired, but you don't have any solutions
There's a lot of
up front.
pressure on his shoulders. He's a young lad still. I heard Jose Mourinho talk about the game afterwards and said Man United will not be in the top four. Matty Lawless on the show last week said that we'd be there, but I don't think we will. It hurts to say that as a United fan, but there's no strength in depth. You need that. So I think congratulations, Ricky. It pains me to say it through gritted teeth, but you did deserve the win. 2 seasons running you've done us at London Stadium.
Appreciate it. I was going for a 2-2. I wasn't overly optimistic that we'd get a result against United. I did think after that Leicester win that would be the spring in your step and you'd come to London Stadium with high confidence. I've got to say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the end just looked absolutely fuming. He was obviously really nice to the cameras, but I'm sure in that dressing room he must have had words.
The team's not good enough, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Ollie's fault. Let's always remember, it's never Ollie's fault.
It's never Ollie's fault. It's never Ollie's fault.
Sure.
I'm still feeling it's not his fault, but I do think, guys, we seem to have tradition of kicking off with United when they lose. I think we've got to start, just because we hate people from Surrey.
That would be every
United.
week then, wouldn't it? Every week we would kick off with United.
We do!
No, that was the result in the big head-to-head of the weekend, but there was another one in our league, and I must say I was disappointed. It was Sean the John McGinn fanboy versus Ricky Pellegrini in our head-to-head league, and I fell apart when it came in to 5-0 after 20 minutes. I was like, wow, Aguero captain, great shout.
Yeah.
I know all of you guys all had Sterling as your captain, and I thought, this weekend can't get off to any better start.
Yeah.
But he got 9 points. When did Man City win 8-0 and Aguero gets 9 points?
That's so true. A lot of us were stung by Sterling. I'm sure a lot of you FPL managers, he was the most picked captain of the game week. It was then coming down to who was your vice captain, right? And I have to say, last week I did shout out for De Bruyne. He was one of my top 3.
Did you vice him?
Essentially, I didn't stick to my own advice, and I bottled it at the last minute, and I changed it back to Salah as my vice captain. And did I regret it come Saturday daytime?
Wow.
Because obviously De Bruyne was very high scoring, got 17 points. Wow. So that would have been massive for your mini leagues out there. Jimmy did the same for you, right? Sterling was your captain as well?
Yeah, I have to say Sterling was really disappointing, and I think I actually give praise to Guardiola for dropping him, because my word, did you get a response from Manchester City. We all called it last week. We said it was going to be a cricket score. And it really was. I mean, Aguero getting a goal after 7 minutes, I would have expected him to have gone on and got a hat-trick. That's the only surprise. But I do think we'll mix up the agenda. We'll get into captain choices. Let's talk about it, because it's the big elephant in the room. It's not even an elephant in the room. It's pissed off a lot of people, and I'm, for one, very upset that Sterling did not start that game. But then at vice captain, sometimes you've got to make sure you get that solid, and Salah didn't do too badly. He got an assist.
Yeah, being completely honest with you, I literally changed it the day before, and I had the whole week I had it selected as De Bruyne as the vice captain. The reason I bottled it is because I actually thought he was going to rest De Bruyne. I really thought it was going to be the other way around.
Captain, you had Sterling as well?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you how good Man City is. I mean, that's the problem when you have like so Man City players in your FPL team, because you just don't know who's going to play on the day. So it's it's almost a bit of a gamble. For example, had 2 of my 11 that were out that didn't get a game, and they were like Man City players, because he has such a strong side, and it's just that's the only thing about Man City, I reckon.
Yeah, that's a great point, Captain. I mean, 4 of the top players from this game week,
5
midfielders were Man City. Yeah, 5 of the top players were Man City. You had Otamendi, who scored a
clean sheet as well.
Yeah, I mean, Bernardo Silva, that's where the money was, but who was going to pick that?
Well, he hasn't played much this season, Bernardo Silva. He was probably Man City's best player last season. Bernardo Silva was absolutely top choice for a lot of people game week 1, but it just shows you that's the rotation risk with Man City players. You do have to be careful. I don't think you can say the same about Liverpool, about Man United, about Arsenal, any of the other top 6. Man City, because they literally have an A team and a B team who could probably both win the Premier League, it's a toss-up who's going to play. In defence, we were hammering on about that last week. Obviously, John Stones is injured. They have a potential problem at the back. Otamendi, whoever got him in must have been pretty brave, because he had an absolute shocker the week before. Look at him, he had 15 points.
Has the Watford manager been fired?
Not
he
as we speak. Not as we speak. I mean, they've already fired one manager, haven't they, this season?
Really?
Yeah, he's the second manager for the season.
So you talk about sackings, and I would actually almost consider resigning myself from the show this week. I made a big mistake. Deep mistake. And I was guilty. I had 2 subs to make this week, and I made one earlier on, and Sean the John McGinn fanboy is no longer the
John McGinn fanboy.
It's a sad day.
It got to the Friday afternoon, and I
ditched
said,
it.
I need to do something about my midfield. I'm not confident. Villa have not been doing it the last couple of weeks.
We're shaking
They're
our
going
head.
to the Emirates. I did not see them pulling off anything there, and I said, hey, even though both James and Mount were a doubt, they both played in the end and both got 2 points, which was nothing spectacular, I decided to drop McGinn. Not drop him, substitute him out of the game. Instead, I brought your boy with the perm, Cantwell.
We love his perm.
What a perm.
What a perm.
What a perm, but what a poor decision
my
by
days.
me. What a poor decision.
Gets better every week.
John McGinn, 10 points, great goal. that deft touch that he put on it. I don't know if you saw it, but the ball through, and he is class.
He is class.
Saw the run and went through, and that's why I love him. He scored a goal, got 10 points overall, and I'd taken him on my team. Disappointed him myself.
Let me ask you this, John McGinn fanboy, will you be getting him back into your team potentially? How well he's played, him and Grealish kind of run that centre midfield and are involved with everything. They both were involved with the goals.
Grealish got a good assist, I saw that. Villa are playing Burnley next week. It's
Tough
Burnley
game.
A tough game. Burnley are doing well.
Yep.
But at home, it's a game that they should do well. Like, you see a lot of goals, and I think better than Cantwell. It should be decided.
Let's jump back very quickly. I just want to finalise this Dream Team of the Week and Bernardo Silva being the main man this week. Did you see his third goal? He was so apologetic to have actually scored. It was fantastic.
He's never scored a hat-trick.
He looked ashamed of his goal because he had miskicked it.
Both his second and third goals just looked like it stuck to his
so
feet.
scrappy.
He obviously
and
took
Watford
a touch
were nowhere near.
Did not look, and it was right on his foot, and he touched
Scrappy, skill, good player, they know how to play. I mean, the thing is again, as I'm looking at this, you've got Dream Team, 4 Man City players across the board. How on earth do you pick a Man City player?
De Bruyne is probably going to be selected more often than the others, and so is David Silva, I would say, at the moment, because he's just on fire. Mahrez and Bernardo Silva are the risky ones, right? But then they come up trumps the low percentage that did own him.
Well, let's just go to the Dream Team quickly. We had Ramsdale in goals, Otamendi, Cresswell, Lundstrom, who a few of you guys had in your team.
Lundstrom.
Great assist, clean sheet, Sheffield United on the up. Pereira, defence, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Mahrez, David Silva, all in midfield, Man City there. Yarmolenko from West Ham, and then Ricky Wood up front. Ricky Wood.
That's Chris Wood, mate, but good try there.
I wish.
A different Wood. So that's your Dream Team. Interestingly, for the first week of the season, no Liverpool players in the Dream Team. They still
Very
got the
interesting
result.
for the first season. But guys, I want to go from there, from the Dream Team to our league. There's been some movements in the league. Captain, you've had a blinding week. Tell us about it.
73 points for the captain there.
Yeah, a bit lucky to be honest, because I actually made a mistake. I was going to sub one of my Sheffield Wednesday players, because I bought
Sheffield Wednesday. They're in League One, aren't they? You're so modest. Carry on. Sorry, I digress. You got 73 points, more than Ricky Pellegrini.
Yeah, so
More than you as well.
But basically, going back to like the fact that two of my Man City players didn't come on, so my subs actually scored pretty well. So I was kind of happy about that.
What subs were they, mate?
Subs were Cantwell and Dunk.
Cantwell was your sub and he scored well.
Well, Dunk got 6, so that's not bad from the sub bench. Yeah. So, and I had a good, the defence scored well this time round. It's the first time that's happened for a while. Obviously, the defence is not as strong as point scoring as much as they were last season. So people have started focusing on their attack and then builds and not bothering so much about the defence, but I think my defence probably was the highest scoring out of midfield and front line. I had Callum Wilson, which I kind of stuck with him because I thought
he's been very consistent, hasn't he, Russ?
He has, yeah. He's been really good. I did get 2 Bournemouth players at the beginning of the season. I did get rid of King, but I think there's no reason to get rid of Callum Wilson. He's scoring goals.
Been pretty consistent since game week 1. He has recorded points, but just kind of in the background there. He hasn't really stole the headlines like Pukki has or Abraham, but he has every week recorded points.
And last season he was one of my main 11 for most of the season because he was consistent.
You're not talking about the fact that you had De Bruyne in there. Obviously 17 points. There.
Well, congratulations anyway, Captain. You were the high point scorer in the league.
So, Captain, you move up to second in the league.
Yeah, up to second.
Still behind Ricky Pellegrini here. Sausage Burner had an absolutely disastrous week. He got burnt.
Get
31 points.
Sausage Burner, the
Very
man
well.
that
Too
ruins
many
barbecues.
sausages.
So he drops down. Matty Lawless, who joined us last week, I think he'd be disappointed with his 44 points, down to 5th place. I was disappointed with my 50, especially after how the weekend started. And
what was the average this week?
I will settle that. The average was 52, I believe. So anything below average.
Always sad to be below.
And then the highest scoring week with a lot of goals at 141.
Really?
So less than half of the highest, I feel a bit disappointed in. So that's there, but I still remain atop of you, and you actually fall down a place further.
When you say you, who are you talking about, mate?
I'm talking about you, Jimmy.
I managed to get the lowest score. Oh no, Sausage Burner got lower than me.
And so,
what?
yeah, he did.
I'm pretty low.
I have to admit, I got very lucky this week with Lundstrom coming in, 12 points.
Yeah, I think a lot of people got that because he was on the bench.
Yeah.
Because of the whole Zinchenko was a popular choice for Man City. Same happened to me, Jimmy. You know, he got swapped out automatically by Lundstrom.
The problem is, mate, I'm 8th out of 9th and I'm only actually slipping. The guy below me got more than me as well. So Patrick, he got 50.
Patrick got 50.
So I think, you know, when I look back at it as well, last week I spoke about the power of your bench and Lundstrom coming in did